Mm-hmm.
But that, within the class, that established your seniority when you're after training and all, and you got actually hired maybe a month or two later after your training.
Right.
Because somebody could flunk out of the training, you know.
Sure.
Not ever become a real employee. They're just checking you out, giving you training. But and 28 was the age limit. I turned 28 on January 29th, and I got hired in March. Or brought in. You're not really hired. It's all tentative.
Right.
But being and 28 was as old as you could be then.
So you learned to fly in the service?
In the Air Force.
In the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
And you went to the Air Force right out of high school?
Oh, it's a long story.
Oh.
I'll try to abbreviate it. Out of high school, I went to college. I made it through one semester. And I'd always wanted to. I liked mine.
Yeah.
So I was 18 in January.
And what year was this?
Well, let's see. I was born in 31, so there would have been 41.
49.
49. So in 49, January of 49, I figured, you know, I wasn't a great student. I had it. So I joined the Air Force for 1 year. Because at that time you could join, I believe it was any branch of the service for 1 year, with a concomitant obligation to serve in the reserve, either active or inactive.
Right.
So I go down to Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, 3 months of basic training, probably came home for a week. Down at Bowling Air Force Base in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Pulled KP duty for a month, washing pots and pans. Then worked some other, I had a nice job in the base operations there, signing people up who were coming through looking for rides home, you know, on military planes. So I got out after a year. And I said, no, I didn't learn anything technical, no. So I'm not going to join the active reserve, which would have been 4 years. The other obligation was that, or inactive for 6 years. So, inactive reserve is good for me.
Okay, so you joined the Air Force Reserve.
So then the Korean War breaks down in 50.
In 50, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
I get letters from the Air Force Reserve
You're being called.
saying you gotta go and join this reserve unit here, Queens, or one in Manhattan. Rip.
You ripped
Other
him up.
letters, rip, screw. I know what the hell I signed.
Yeah.
Inactive reserve.
Right.
So that would have been, let me see, in 50.
Right, you're 19 years old.
So I was in and out of college. I don't think I went more than a year and a half at a time.
And that was locally?
Queens College.
Queens College, okay.
Good school.
Yeah.
I go a year and a half, and I always wanted to go to France. So when I was 21, through a connection of my father, I went to France.
You're a Loumeau.
3 months. I wanted to learn the language, having studied. Anyway, came home. A friend of mine ran into my best friends, talked, went back to college. Anyway, 4 years after I got out in 1950, I had 3.5 years of college. And I've always wanted to fly, you know. The Korean War's going on now. I want to get a piece of the action. So I signed, I went, took the test for pilot training, you know, passed. I went in, so that's when I went in 54. Back down to Lackland Air Force Base there, then then Florida, 6 months training, Mississippi for 6 months training. And it was interesting. And I think the second part of the basic training was where you transitioned to jets, the T-33.
Okay.
So after the training, all I had flown was single engine airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got assigned to a refueling squadron in Bangor, Maine. And they're flying KC-97s, which was a big four-engine airplane.
Right.
So all I had flown was single engine.
Wow. Right. Right. That's a
So
jump.
they have, before I go up there, they got to give me some multi-engine training.
Of course.
Right.
So my best buddy in the Air Force, he's still here on Long Island. We did a lot together, still do. They sent us to Kelly Air Force Base in Texas
Uh-huh.
for multi-engine training in a B-29.
Wow.
Out of a
bomber.
single-engine jet into a four-engine B-29.
Holy cow.
That's how we got our
That's
multi.
how you learn. Because Josie will get her multi-engine. That's one of the things you get. You get your private pilots, then your instrument, then your multi-engine. You know, there's, yeah.
But what's
You learn on the job.
this B-29 was so big
It's so big, yeah.
that our training missions on the plane were 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like Dick Barabee and I would go together, 5 hours.
Yeah,
He'd get
yeah.
half time in the seat, I'd get the other half. They were getting so much time on the airplanes. They fueled the airplane in the morning. One crew would go up for 5 hours, they'd come back, leave the engines running, switch crews. Second crew would go for 5 hours, come back, leave the engines running. Third crew would go for 5-hour mission.
Yeah.
The engines were running for over 15 hours
Amazing.
without refueling.
Yeah. Jeez.
So that was interesting. So anyway, then Cal Air Force Base.
So what, yeah, yeah.
But the military, I love the military
Yeah.
flying and the people I met.
How long were you in the service after you went back?
Well, let's see, the second, 1 year, and then the second time, I think, let's see, from 40, a little over 4 years.
Right.
So I was in about 5 years and 4 months or something.
And when did you meet Elaine? When did you get married?
Well, I got hired in 59. Elaine went on, went with American in
She was a flight
56.
attendant.
Oh, okay. So you were in your late 20s. You were like 28, 29 years old.
He was
No,
ready.
by then I probably, I was 29 or 30.
Yeah, yeah. Which in those days was you were
But
like
those days the flying was good. That-
You were an
knew that
eligible bachelor and you found the
You were
hot
a
flight
pilot,
attendant.
right.
You saw the stewardess.
I was in no hurry. Because we met some of the stewardess trainees
Yeah.
when we were training down there.
Right.
And some of them were going back to being based in New York, so we knew a few of them.
Yeah.
I'd say we, that guy and I, and they were very nice people, and lived in Jackson Heights where I got a place, and it was good. I was in no rush.
Mhm.
But so that was, let me see, what year did I say? 59, yeah. I keep getting mixed up.
No, you were right. You haven't gotten mixed up once.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
you're
yeah.
really on
So
it.
59, I went, I guess March of 59, and maybe 60. Oh, in the meantime, I had seen Elaine in flight operations. In those days, it was like one small happy company where everybody
Yeah,
knew.
yeah, you're right. It was a family.
Everything was out of the hangar at LaGuardia.
Wow.
Okay.
That's where they did that's where
Yeah.
they had the flight dispatchers.
Yeah.
That's where we had crew schedule.
Yeah.
And that's where we'd go. I had like a mailbox. We had tons of paperwork to put in our
Yeah.
revisions.
Right.
So I had seen Elaine a couple of times in there. So I asked him on crew schedule, Tom Matarasi. I said, "Hey Tom, who's that dame there?" "Oh, that's Elaine Francesconi, a nice Italian, you know, Jewish mother. So I had seen her, and one day in the day off, I only lived about a mile and a half from
Right.
the airport. I drive my car to the airport. Here's the hangar. Here's the road. Here's the employee parking lot. Can you imagine? Right across from the hangar
I know.
where I had to go. So I go to the mailbox to get my paperwork so I put the revisions in and all that stuff. And so I'm coming out, there's Elaine standing on the median. There's a road. Here's the hangar, here's the road, here's the median, waiting for a bus. And then, so I figured, let me ask you, I said, hey, can I give you a ride home? Hoping she didn't live in Brooklyn or Manhattan.
You took a
So
risk.
she probably paused for a second and so I said, yeah. So I drove her home and I asked if I could meet her that night. Then I figured, what the hell am I going to do with this good-looking dame? And well, I'm not going to go to a movie. So I had a good friend, my best friend, Jim White. Linda knows the whole family. And just fantastic people. And so because as a bachelor there, I used to go and watch their kids. They lived in Flushing, you know. Not far from Jackson Heights. I used to go there when I needed to wash my laundry. I didn't want to go to laundry. So I called and said, hey, Mary, you want to go out tonight? I'll come over and watch the kids and bring my laundry. So I'd go do my laundry. They'd go to a movie because they had 6 kids.
Right.
Maybe not at the time. They had at least
But
4.
that's not where you brought Elaine for your first date.
So they were thrilled to be able to go out and have somebody watch the kids.
Yeah.
So I do that. And so I called up, said, nice girl, what can we do? Come on, let's go bowling. So I picked her up, went to the White's house in Flushing, went bowling alley in Whitestone.
So the friends that you babysit for, you called them and said, where do I bring a nice girl? And they're the ones who told you to take her bowling. That's it. Okay,
so you didn't go on a babysitting for your first date, right?
He didn't take her there,
right.
but he called that nice couple and he said, "What do I? Every time I babysit for you, where do you guys go?"
Right.
My son Paul, he lives next door.
He lives next door? Yeah, I didn't know that. Hey, we met.
Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
I heard.